I like telling stories, and I have a lot of stories, but people look at me and say the old man. Believes he was in talk radio for 30-some years. Believes he was in television. Believes he was a teacher. He even believes the things that he did that he didn't do because he has dementia. So, putting this all together, you will understand why many of the interesting stories of my life, the things that I found interesting, I don't talk about. Because I think people will think I'm lying, I'm making it up. They think I might be exaggerating. They think the story may be true, might be untrue. So it is just easier to not tell the stories. So it gave me an interesting idea. And that is that I'm going to tell you a story. The story may be true. It may be a bold-faced lie. It might be an exaggeration. It might be something with my dementia. I don't know. So I thought it would be fun to tell the stories and then have people say, hey, look, we don't believe this, Dimmitt. Or they might say, Dimmitt, it's possible, but you exaggerated. Or you might say, right on, Dimmitt. So I thought the first story today would have to do with the school bus in a cloud. It was in early January, if I recall, in Battleground, Washington. Was a newly licensed school bus driver, and I checked the bus out before the run. I looked underneath the bus to make sure a nuclear bomb had not been installed. I checked to make sure that there was no gasoline pouring out of the gas tank and all of the tires were on the bus. And then I got on the bus, I opened the door, I sat down. I checked the various gauges and instruments of this diesel-powered machine. I checked to make sure there were no students left on the bus from last night. Everything checked out okay. However, I did not check to notice a small black cloud in the blue sky approaching the school bus from the north. Anyway, I got in line with the other buses. I pulled out at the right time, so I'm behind the right bus I'm supposed to be behind. I make it all the way past the golf course where a golf ball could have hit the bus and caused a major accident. I made a very correct left turn heading to the middle school. I arrived at the middle school. I parked at the exact place I was supposed to park. I smiled at a friend of mine who was a teacher. On our way, I kept my tongue in at the time because I didn't want to look silly. That would have scared everybody. So I tried to keep everybody calm. The children boarded the bus, and we're ready to roll. A kid throws a Dixie cup from the back seat to the front seat. Luckily, there was nothing in the Dixie cup. So I announced to the kids on the bus, there will be no trip to McDonald's this morning. You won't get your Big Mac because Wizzo in the back seat just threw a cup. Could have injured somebody. Now, we started out on the route. The kids were content and happy because I had not got lost. I was coming down a hill, a very long hill, and I had a stop at the end of the hill. A stop that if I had not set the brake, the bus would have careened down onto a highway loaded with cars, killing hundreds of people. But I, being newly licensed and trained, knew that my emergency brake had to be on to keep that accident from happening. Now, I still had not noticed the small black cloud, what was like on a radar mission to my bus. Everywhere else a blue sky. And now it was time for the most dangerous stop on the route. It was dangerous because of that hill. No brake. Kids were warned. Driver is senile. Make certain you hear the sound of the brake. Make certain that the yellow button on the dash has been pulled out and the brakes are activated. And the students noticed this. Now 3 middle school students got off the bus. The first one looked at the dashboard and said, "Congratulations, old Jer. You've made it to the bus stop and we're all in one piece. And you have pulled your emergency brake. May we leave the bus now, sir?" These were well-behaved children. And I said, "Yes, you may leave the bus now." And I opened the door, not noticing that black cloud above the bus. And the children ran off towards their houses. Suddenly, without warning, from the black cloud erupted a giant ray of fire. It was terrifying. My hair stood on end. I shook. The kids in the bus went, "Wow!" And the kids that I had just left off the bus, all 3 of them fell flat on the ground and were motionless. I checked the rules of the bus. It says the driver may not leave the bus while students are aboard. So I had a dilemma. 3 children laying flat on the ground. A bunch of kids that mouths looked like a dishpan was stuck on the bus. I had to make an executive decision. Do I tell all the kids, "Get off the bus"? Then we'd all go off the bus, but there was a rule against that too because it wasn't a school. So I called the dispatch and I said, "I know that many of you think I exaggerate and tell untruths." I might have said that. But lightning has struck, and there are 3 students laying on the ground in front of the bus. I'm leaving the bus. Well, this course totally upset dispatch because they know I couldn't leave the bus and I see these students. So, in a moment of complete courage, I made sure the brake was pulled all the way out. The kids still in shock on the bus. I said, "Wait, I will be back." And I was prepared to leave the bus and risk my job. Then, the 3 students jumped up, and they come running back towards the bus. I opened the door for them. I was very happy to see them. And the one kid, the one that was the leader, the one that was in charge, looked at me very seriously and said, "Jer, that wasn't the kind of dangerous lightning, was it?" All the other bus drivers were agog because they did not see anything but the blue sky above my head. But I swear, I swear, the story I have just told you is true. Believe it or not, if you will excuse me.